Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. I'm a former high school English teacher who believes that some of the most valuable education happens outside of the classroom, and I write stories about my life learning. Today's story is about sisterhood. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. My one and only sibling, my big sister Jenny, recently turned 50, which has had me reflecting in a big way on sisterhood. We're only 19 months apart. I'm the younger sis, still swimming in my 40s, but no one ever seems to be able to guess who of us is the senior. Although part by part, eye color, waistline, skin type, height, bra cup, we're quite dissimilar physically, we share so many mannerisms, a voice tone, a laughter cadence, a greeting style, hand gestures, that we've been mistaken for twins countless times. But I'm far more sensitive, she's far more social, she's ultra organized and efficient, I'm more creative and circuitous. She saves exactly what she needs, I save everything. I'm good with words, she's good with dance moves. She remembers the names of obscure medical conditions. I remember what our teachers wore on the first day of school in 1984. Together we make a well-rounded pair, and I think that's why our sistership functions so well. I actually feel like I won the sibling lottery. Cringe, right? Who really wants to hear about another's good fortune when it comes to genetic luck? Especially when so many siblingships are fraught with pain and disappointment. I remember early in motherhood to my year-old daughter and being pregnant with my second child, secretly hoping that I'd have another girl. Sisters. My dream was to replicate the family dynamic of my upbringing. When I learned that a boy was growing inside me, I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I was devastated for approximately 24 hours. I shared my sadness with a few trusted souls, and it was then that some of those women confided in me that their relationships with their sisters were among the most challenging relationships of their lives. What you and your sister have is rare, one friend admitted, which shocked me, genuinely. Before then, except for a few egregious circumstances that I'd known, I hadn't particularly tuned in to subtle sister struggles. But once I started paying attention, I recognized her admission in all kinds of sister pairs. I'd been naive, but I learned then that there's no guarantee in any kind of relationship. I feel compelled to mention that when I became pregnant with my third, I had zero preference on gender, truly. I learned from my first son that gender, when it comes to love's capacity, means nothing. The spirit of the child is what I think we're all really drawn to, and I've come to believe that siblings are siblings, regardless of gender. And when I break down my relationship with my sister, I'm no longer convinced that our respective girlness or even our biological link are the key ingredients to our adult friendship. Rather, I think that the enduring foundation of our bond comes from a combination of built-up trust, mutual respect, and truth-telling. Actually, when I think back, although we grew up with bedrooms nestled close together and were easy companions on family vacations, we weren't best friends as kids. We didn't particularly share secrets. We had totally separate friends. In all our schooling years, we only spent 2 of them at the same school, my 3rd and 6th grade years. We enjoyed different extracurriculars, hobbies, and academic interests. And yet our trust, respect, and truth-telling existed as a steady sea that enveloped us. If I had to pinpoint it, her departure for college marked the beginning of our friendship. When she left, I actually asked my parents for a pet cat to fill the void, and I swiftly realized that my sister hadn't been a replaceable space filler. I can't be sure what my parents did to help nurture our siblingship. My mom would say it was unconditional love. My dad would say that my mom gets the credit. My suspicion is that we both understood how inherently valued we each were in the eyes of our parents, whose opinions we trusted most. Therefore, as much as I was valued and I felt valued, so was she. I love a particular photo with my mom from my childhood taken on Christmas Eve at the Everett's house, who lived across the street. Mr. Everett always kept a hearty Nikon nearby, and he snapped this photo from across the table. As a gift for my sister on her 50th birthday, I created a photo montage of her first 5 decades, and I came across this photo of her with our mom from that same night. I suspect that we'd each been away from the table getting our hair coiffed by Laura Everett, the big sister who often babysat us. And as we each popped back to the table to model our curls for Mom, Mr. Everett saw moments worth capturing. But can you see what I mean? From the most influential person in our young lives, our mom, we both understood that we were wholly valued. My sense is that our respective value was simply the truth we both knew, and we naturally carried it into our adulthoods. Leaving the nest gave us space to reinforce each other's value for each other without our parents' persuasion. As relationships and phases and schools and careers and homes and heartaches and triumphs and crippling disappointments have come and gone, we've served as faithful companions in our climbs through life's offerings, both being helpful guides in recentering each other's inherent value when needed. Working on our 50th birthday photo montage for a month inadvertently took me on a half-century-long road trip through memories with Jenny. When I was in high school, for instance, I remember once applying mascara while standing next to Jenny and before our bathroom mirror, and she commented that I looked good with mascara. "Thanks," I replied. Then she went on, "No, you look really good with mascara on." "Thanks," I said a little louder. She then added, No, like you shouldn't leave the house without mascara on." And there we have it. Truth-telling by a sister. I also remember a time in college when my car died in Maine on the way home to Connecticut for the holiday break, still 5 hours away. I called home and Jenny picked up, who was also back from college and about to head out to gather with her high school friends for the evening. My parents were at a holiday party, and this was, of course, before cell phones. I've been able to secure myself a rental car to the halfway point, Boston's Logan Airport, but no cars were available for the full ride to Connecticut. And my sister, just like that, canceled her plans and drove into the night to collect me in Boston. We pulled into our Connecticut driveway around 3 a.m. In our early 20s, both living and working in Manhattan, we met up one day for lunch, and as I recounted some tale, she looked at me wistfully. "What?" I asked. "You've gotten your first smile line since I last saw you," she noticed, referring to the earliest markers of the crow's feet that now frame my eyes. We both laughed, acknowledging this unceremonious new stage. As the older one, her head start on life has served as a preview for mine, of what to expect of sorts. And her life choices embedded some level of permission in my decision-making. In her mid-20s, for instance, she called off a wedding, moved across the country with a burning belief in herself, got a dog, and eventually became an entrepreneur. These were big, brave things, and I took note, gaining confidence that I, too, could make bold choices. Motherhood found me first, and although I became our ambassador for this life stage, she showed me what support of matrescence looks like. She practically moved mountains to be present for my 3 kids' births. She assisted with all of them and then stayed by my side taking 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. newborn shifts for the first week of each of their lives. She learned alongside me and gently helped with every single part of the early parenting process. She picks up the phone each time I call, even if it's totally inconvenient, and she often disrupts her flow to help me with my random needs, like a tech hiccup or a wayward recipe or a no-good emotional spiral that requires thwarting. All things she's helpful remedying. I mean, I sure hope that she's got a list of ways that I've shown up for her too, because I keep my ringer on silent, which is totally annoying for anyone who's not me. Deep into this memory lane road trip, I came across an enticing Instagram ad for an app that uses AI to bring old photos back to life into video form. Immediately, I imagined how this miraculous AI advancement would enhance her 50th birthday slideshow, especially since we have no videos from our childhoods. My excitement to see a visual reenactment of my sister's personhood and all that I love about her was uncontainable, and I was certain that she would love this perfect accent to the slideshow. At first, I didn't realize that there were different options for the video effects, which is how this ridiculous concoction came about. But as I uploaded more and more photos into the app's mouth, hopeful that AI's magical touch would open a vein to our past and produce real-life glimmers into our memories, I kept opening the generated videos to discover disappointing, unfamiliar versions of her. Her slightest characteristics washed away into a generic likeness. The AI'd videos simply could not capture her specific essence. They weren't real or even true or even that close to the life force of my sister from across the years. And so after my failed, albeit entertaining AI experiment, I returned to the piles of photographs and the trove of my kept memories to create a storied mosaic to celebrate her 5 decades, capturing our real memories, my real gratitudes, and my deep knowing of this singular human I cherish. Somehow at this 50-year marker of her life, in the mushy identities of sister, mother, daughter, friend, spouse that we both share, I'm acutely aware of what our shared life has been, while I'm also mindful that the road ahead of us will contain some unavoidable twists and turns. Pausing to capture it, what this sisterhood has meant to me up to this point, and the power her life has had in the shaping of mine, feels like the most important expression I could possibly gift her. And afterwards, I'll give her all the botched AI videos for a good giggle, like this one with my backwards arm. And as I rewatched this absurd video, I'm realizing that I forgot about one other crucial ingredient that's held our sisterhood together. Laughter. Always laughter. Let's keep growing. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. Learn more about me and my offerings on my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com. And if you've got important memories and sentiments to preserve in writing but need some support in the process, consider me your letter lady. My letter writing services can be found at foreverletterwriting.com. Whether you're here for help with writing, a desire for inner fulfillment coaching, or for the quiet inner growth that hopefully accompanies my stories, I'm grateful that you are here. I'm sheathing you in blue, and if you don't know what that means, check out my video called The Perfect Blue. Until next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.